Hello, my name is Rich Wilbur. I work for Valent Corporation. What I'm going to be demonstrating here today is proper fitting makeup. 1 1/4 turns is all you need. So what we're going to do is we're going to deburr a piece of tubing, mark it, make up a fitting, and then we're going to pressurize it to show that 1 1/4 turns is all you need so there won't be any leaks. So with the piece of tubing, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to use a deburring tool. You're going to deburr the ID, the OD, of both sides of the tubing. We're going to mark it. We have this burnishing tool that's going to actually mark the tubing so we know that we have proper tube insertion into the fitting. There's a little burnish mark here. We're going to take a fitting, put it all the way in. We're going to mark the tubing and the top of the nut. That's our 0 point. Then we're going to tighten the fitting 1 1/4 turns. There's 1. And 1/4. Using our inspection gauge, we could see that this line matches the burnish line that we made on the fitting, so we know that we have proper tube insertion. And then the go, no-go side, we see that the gauge does not fit between the nut and the body, so we know that it was properly made up. If this were to slide in, then we know that we didn't make up the fitting enough. We can go back and tighten some more. So for the other side, do the same thing. We're going to put a burnish mark. Have the other side of the fitting. Do the same thing, mark the tubing, top of the nut for our 0 point. One 1/4 turns. Use our gauge. We'll see that if the lines line up, go, no-go gauge does not slide in, so we have a properly made up fitting. So now we're going to do a hydro test. I'm going to fill this tubing with liquid. Safety shield. So now as you can look at the gauge, we're going to see as this tubing setup starts to pressurize, you'll notice how much pressure is going into this tubing. As you notice, we're at approximately 10,000 psi. There's no leaks. You can see there's no liquid squirting out from the fitting. And as it pressurizes, now you can see the tubing starting to change. You can see it starting to expand. So what's happening here is the expansion of the liquid inside this tube is going to cause the tubing to burst, but the point of this exercise is to show that 1 1/4 turns is enough to properly seal this piece of tube, the fitting on the tubing, at greater than 10,000 psi. And for the fun part, tubing explodes. So the tubing exploded at a little over 11,000 psi. Now chances are you're never going to see that kind of pressure inside your plant. Maximum working pressure for 035 wall 1/2-inch tubing is around 52 to 5,500 psi. So you can see there's quite a safety factor involved. But the point being that at 11,000 psi, the fittings are intact, they didn't leak throughout the process, so 1 1/4 turns is all you need to properly make up a fitting.